Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair, watching the stars through the main screen of the battleship Defiant. The ship moved slowly through space near the edge of human territory. He had been patrolling this area for 3 months now, and nothing exciting had happened. The colonies were safe, trade ships moved back and forth without problems, and the pirates stayed away from his sector. "Captain, we have something strange on the sensors," said Lieutenant Amy Brooks from her position at the communications station. Her voice was calm, but Jake could hear worry in it. "What kind of strange?" Jake asked, turning his chair toward her. 5 ships coming toward the New Dakota colony, but they don't look like any ships I've seen before. The computer can't identify them." Jake stood up and walked over to look at her screen. The shapes on the display were wrong somehow. They looked alive, like they were breathing or moving even though they were in space. The ships seemed to change form as he watched them. "Are they responding to our signals?" he asked. "No, sir. I've tried all the standard frequencies. They're not answering at all." Chief Engineer Tom Bradley looked up from his station. "Captain, those energy readings are off the charts. I've never seen anything like it. The ships appear to be organic, somehow." Jake felt his stomach tighten. In 20 years of military service, he had learned that unknown meant dangerous. The colonies had been attacked by pirates using stolen alien technology before. Thousands of people had died on Mars 3, when strange ships had appeared without warning. "Red alert," Jake ordered. "All hands to battle stations. Send a message to Admiral Hughes at Saul Defense Command. Tell him we have unknown vessels approaching human space." The lights on the bridge changed to red, and alarms began to sound throughout the ship. Jake could hear his crew running to their positions. The Defiant was a good ship with a good crew. They had fought pirates and hostile aliens before. But these ships were different. "Captain, the unknown vessels are releasing something," Amy said, her voice rising with fear. "Some kind of particles or spores are coming out of their ships." On the main screen, Jake could see clouds of glowing dust spreading out from the alien ships. The particles sparkled like tiny stars, moving in patterns that seemed almost like dancing. It would have been beautiful if it wasn't so terrifying. "Biological weapons," Tom said grimly. "Has to be. No other reason to release organic matter in space." Jake's mind raced. The New Dakota colony had 50,000 people, including families with children. If these aliens were planning to attack with biological weapons, he couldn't let them get close. "Arm all weapons," he ordered. "Target the lead ship." "Captain, maybe we should try to communicate first," Amy suggested. "They might not be hostile." Jake looked at the screen again. The alien ships were getting closer to the colony, and more of the glowing spores were spreading through space. He thought about the children on New Dakota, about the families who trusted him to keep them safe. "No time," he said. "If they wanted to talk, they would have answered our signals. Fire when ready." The Defiant's main guns opened fire. Bright beams of energy shot across space and hit the lead alien vessel. The strange ship shuddered and began to leak some kind of fluid into space. Jake watched as pieces of the ship broke away, and he realized with horror that it really was alive somehow. "Direct hit on the lead vessel," Tom reported. "It's badly damaged." The other alien ships immediately changed direction, moving away from the colony, but Jake couldn't tell if they were retreating or trying to get into a better attack position. "Sir, I'm getting a transmission," Amy said suddenly. "It's not from the alien ships, it's from Dr. Lisa Carter at the research station." "Put her through." Dr. Carter's face appeared on the screen. She looked upset and worried. "Captain Morrison, you have to stop firing. Those aren't weapons they're releasing. I've been monitoring their transmissions. They're trying to communicate." "Communicate with spores?" Jake asked. "Yes, it's a form of bioluminescent language. Many species use chemical and light signals to talk. They're not attacking, they're trying to say hello." Jake felt cold inside. He looked at the main screen where the damaged alien ship was still leaking into space. Parts of it were clearly dying. "Are you certain, Doctor? I've been studying alien communication methods for 15 years. This is a peaceful first contact attempt, not an attack." Jake closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, he could see that the other alien ships had stopped moving. They were just floating in space, not advancing toward the colony or trying to escape. Amy, can you establish communication with them now? I'm trying, sir, but the damaged ship seems to be the one with their main communication equipment. For the next hour, Dr. Carter worked with Amy to establish basic communication with the aliens. Jake learned that they were called Zephyrians, and they were part of something called the Collective. They had been traveling for months to meet humans, for the first time. The captain of the damaged ship was called Kethvar. When his image finally appeared on the screen, Jake saw a being made of what looked like living crystal. Kethvar's body was cracked and dim now, clearly injured in the attack. We came in peace, Kethvar said through the translation system Dr. Carter had set up. We wanted to learn about your people and share knowledge. Jake felt sick. I'm sorry. We thought you were attacking our colony. Our greeting display was seen as a weapon. Yes, we've been attacked before by unknown ships. When you didn't respond to our signals and then released the spores, we assumed the worst. Kethvar's crystal body flickered weakly. Many of my crew are dead. Our ship is dying. We did not know that humans were so quick to violence. Jake ordered his medical team to help the aliens as much as they could, but the damage was done. 3 Zephyrian crew members had died, and their ship could barely function. As the alien survivors were brought aboard the Defiant for medical treatment, Jake stood on his bridge and wondered what he had done. He had protected the colony, but he had also possibly started a war with a peaceful alien species. Tom Bradley walked up beside him. Captain, you made the right choice with the information you had. Did I? Jake asked. They came in peace and we shot them. They didn't answer our signals. They released unknown substances near our colony. Any captain would have done the same thing. Jake nodded, but he didn't feel better. Through the viewport, he could see the damaged Zephyrian ship. It looked like a wounded animal floating in space. Sir, Amy said quietly, Dr. Carter says the aliens had an automatic message system. When their ship was damaged, it sent everything that happened back to their home worlds. Jake closed his eyes again. Somewhere out in space, other Zephyrians were learning that humans had attacked a peaceful diplomatic mission. He had a feeling that this was just the beginning of their problems. 3 days after the attack, Admiral Ben Hughes stood in the command center at Sol Defense headquarters. The large room was filled with officers working at computer stations, and the main screen showed a map of human space. Red warning lights blinked near the edge of their territory. How many ships are they sending? Admiral Hughes asked General Patricia Wells, who had just arrived from Colonial Defense. Our scouts report 200 vessels moving toward our border, she replied. The Zephyrians are calling it a justice fleet. They want us to surrender the people responsible for attacking their diplomatic mission. Admiral Hughes looked at the numbers again. 200 ships was more than the entire Sol Defense Force. What do we know about their military capabilities? Not much, General Wells admitted. Dr. Carter has been working with the survivors, but they claim their people have no real military. They've never fought a war in their entire history. Then why are they sending 200 ships? They say it's to show us how serious they are about getting justice. In their culture, the size of a fleet shows the importance of the mission. Admiral Hughes shook his head. These aliens didn't understand humans at all. When someone sent 200 warships toward human space, it looked like an invasion, not a peace mission. On the research station near New Dakota, Dr. Lisa Carter was having the same problem trying to explain humans to the Zephyrians. She sat across from Ambassador Kethvar in the medical bay. The alien's crystal body was healing slowly, but he was still weak. Your people are preparing for war, Kethvar said sadly. We can see your ships gathering near your borders. They're afraid, Dr. Carter explained. When humans see a large fleet approaching, they think it means an attack. But we announced our peaceful intentions. We sent messages explaining that we seek justice, not war. Dr. Carter tried to find the right words. Humans have been attacked by unknown aliens before. Many people died. When we see ships we don't recognize, we assume they might be hostile. Kethvar's body flickered with confusion. Your species lives in constant fear of attack? Not fear. Exactly. But we stay ready to defend ourselves. It's how we survived on our home planet for thousands of years. On our worlds, we solved conflicts through discussion and trade agreements. We have never needed weapons for protection. Dr. Carter realized that the Zephyrians truly didn't understand how dangerous the galaxy could be. They had been lucky to meet only peaceful species during their expansion into space. Meanwhile, Captain Jake Morrison was preparing for another difficult mission. He stood in the briefing room of his ship with Admiral Hughes on the communication screen. "Captain, I need you to take a small diplomatic team to meet their Justice Fleet," the Admiral said. "Try to prevent this from turning into a full war." "Sir, with respect, they might just attack us on sight. We did kill their people." "That's a risk we have to take. Dr. Carter will go with you. She's made progress communicating with their survivors." Jake nodded, though he didn't like the mission. Taking a lightly armed ship to meet 200 alien vessels seemed like suicide, but if there was any chance to avoid war, they had to try. 2 days later, Jake's courier ship approached the meeting point at the edge of human space. Dr. Carter sat next to him on the small bridge, looking nervous. The ship only had basic weapons and shields, nothing that could fight a real battle. "There they are," said Lieutenant Amy Brooks, who had volunteered to come on the mission. The Zephyrian fleet appeared on their screens. Jake had expected something like human warships, but these vessels looked more like living creatures. They moved in flowing patterns through space, almost like a school of fish swimming through an ocean. "They're beautiful," Dr. Carter whispered. Jake had to admit the alien ships were amazing to watch. But he also noticed that some of them were very large, easily the size of human battleships. "Dr. Carter to Zephyrian fleet," Lisa said into her communicator. "This is the human diplomatic mission. We request permission to speak with your commanders." A reply came quickly. "Dr. Carter, this is Supreme Commander Vextel. You may approach our flagship." As their small ship moved closer to the alien fleet, Jake noticed something wrong on his sensors. "Doctor, I'm picking up some strange readings from this area." "What kind of readings?" "Metal debris scattered throughout this space. Old weapons, platforms hidden in the asteroid field." Before Dr. Carter could reply, alarms began sounding on their ship. Something was powering up in the space around them. "Jake, look at this," Amy said, pointing at her screen. The debris Jake had detected was moving, assembling itself into larger structures. Suddenly, the space around both fleets lit up with weapons fire. Ancient gun platforms, hidden among the asteroids for who knows how long, began attacking both human and Zephyrian ships. "Defensive positions," Jake shouted, even though his small ship couldn't fight these massive weapons. On the Zephyrian flagship, Supreme Commander Vextal was experiencing his first taste of combat. His organic ship shuddered as energy beams hit its living hull. The pain feedback from his vessel made him cry out. "Commander, our bioships are taking heavy damage," and his aide reported. "These weapons seem designed to hurt organic technology." "Return fire," Vextal ordered, though he had no idea how to fight a real battle. The Zephyrian weapons were designed for peaceful purposes, not war. Their energy beams could barely scratch the ancient metal platforms. Meanwhile, the automated weapons continued their steady bombardment. Jake watched in horror as several Zephyrian ships were destroyed completely. Their organic hulls couldn't handle the punishment from the old weapons, but he also saw that the ancient platforms were targeting his courier ship too. "Amy, send an emergency signal to Admiral Hughes. Tell him we need the fleet here now." "Already sent, Captain, but it will take them 6 hours to reach us." A massive explosion lit up space as one of the largest Zephyrian vessels was cut in half by weapons fire. Jake realized that neither fleet could survive 6 hours against these ancient defenses. "Dr. Carter, can you contact the Zephyrian commander?" "I'm trying, but their communication systems are being jammed." Jake made a decision that would have seemed impossible an hour earlier. He piloted his small ship directly toward the Zephyrian flagship, dodging weapons fire from the ancient platforms. "What are you doing?" Dr. Carter asked. "If we're going to survive this, we need to work together. The Zephyrians can't fight these weapons alone, and neither can we." As their ship approached the alien flagship, Jake saw the truth that would change everything. The Zephyrians, for all their advanced technology, had no idea how to wage war. Their beautiful organic ships were being destroyed because they had been built for exploration and trade, not combat. The humans and aliens who had been enemies just days before now faced a common threat that could destroy them all. Jake Morrison's courier ship shook as another blast from the ancient weapons hit nearby. He could see the Zephyrian flagship ahead of him, its organic hull bleeding some kind of glowing fluid into space. The beautiful alien vessel was dying. "Doctor, Carter, are you getting through to them?" Jake asked as he dodged another energy beam. "Yes, I have Supreme Commander Vextal on the line," she replied. "He's asking why we're approaching them. Tell him we want to help. Our fleets need to work together or we're all going to die here." Dr. Carter spoke quickly in the alien language she had learned. A moment later, the Zephyrian ship's weapons stopped targeting Jake's courier. "Captain Morrison," came Vextal's voice through the translator. "Your people attacked us. Why do you offer help now?" "Because those ancient weapons don't care if we're human or Zephyrian," Jake replied. "They're trying to kill all of us." As if to prove his point, a massive explosion lit up the space between them. 2 more Zephyrian vessels had been destroyed by the automated platforms. Jake could see that the alien fleet was in terrible trouble. Their organic ships were beautiful, but they couldn't take much damage. "My ships are dying," Vextal said, and Jake could hear pain in the alien commander's voice. "We have never fought a battle like this. We don't know how." "Then let us teach you," Jake said. "But first, we need to get our ships working together." 20 minutes later, Admiral Hughes arrived with the main human fleet. Jake had never been so happy to see the familiar shapes of human warships. The heavy cruisers and battleships looked rough and ugly compared to the flowing Zephyrian vessels, but they were built for fighting. "Captain Morrison, report," Admiral Hughes said over the communication system. "Admiral, we're facing some kind of ancient defense network. The weapons are automatically targeting any ship that enters this space. The Zephyrian fleet has taken heavy losses." Admiral Hughes looked at his tactical displays. The human ships were doing better against the ancient weapons, but they were still outgunned. "How many platforms are there?" "At least 50 that we can see, maybe more hidden in the asteroids." "And the alien fleet?" Jake looked toward the Zephyrian ships. Many of them were damaged and several were completely destroyed. "They need our help, Admiral. Their ships can't handle this kind of combat." Admiral Hughes was quiet for a moment. Then he made a decision that surprised everyone. "All ships, this is Admiral Hughes. We are now in a joint operation with the Zephyrian fleet. Any human captain who attacks an alien vessel will face court-martial." Chief Engineer Tom Bradley was working frantically at his station aboard the Defiant when the first Zephyrian engineer came aboard. The alien looked like a giant insect with multiple arms, each one capable of very delicate work. "I am Technician Zilmar," the alien said through a translator device. "My ship is badly damaged. Can your people help us repair it?" Tom looked at the alien's tools and equipment. Everything was organic, grown rather than built. "I've never seen technology like this before. How does it work?" "Our ships are alive," Zilmar explained. "They heal themselves if given time and the right nutrients, but these weapons cause damage faster than healing can occur." Tom had an idea. "What if we could combine our repair methods, human tools for quick fixes and your healing technology for permanent repairs?" Working together, Tom and Zilmar created something new. They used human welding equipment to seal the worst damage on the alien ship, then applied Zephyrian healing compounds to make the repairs permanent. The organic ship's hull began to grow back stronger than before. Meanwhile, Commander Nick Parker was leading a mixed squadron of human and Zephyrian fighters against the weapon platforms. His wingman was a young Zephyrian pilot named Kesai, whose biofighter could change shape during flight. "Parker to Kesai, there's a platform targeting you at 2 o'clock. "I see it," the alien pilot replied. "But my weapons cannot penetrate. It's armor. Follow my lead, we'll attack together." Nick dove toward the ancient platform, firing his missiles to distract its defenses. At the same moment, Kesai's ship stretched itself into a thin, fast shape and slipped through the platform's shields. The alien fighter fired its bioweapon directly into the platform's core, destroying it from the inside. "Excellent work," Nick said. How did you know to do that? Your missile attack created a gap in its defenses. My ship sensed the weakness and adapted to exploit it. Back on the Defiant, Dr. Carter was working with Chief Medical Officer Sandra Lee to treat wounded from both fleets. The Zephyrian injuries were unlike anything they had seen before. When the organic ships were damaged, the crews felt the pain directly. Their nervous systems are connected to their vessels, Dr. Carter explained. When the ship is hurt, they suffer too. That's horrible, Sandra said. How do they stand it? It also makes them much better pilots. They can feel what their ship needs and respond instantly. Pilot Jenny White had been terrified when she first saw the alien biofighters. They looked like giant insects or sea creatures floating through space, but now she was flying in formation with them, and she was amazed by their abilities. White to Squadron, watch this, her Zephyrian wingman said. The alien fighter suddenly split into 3 smaller vessels, each one attacking a different target. How is that possible? Jenny asked. Our ships are colonies of smaller organisms. In battle, they can separate to confuse enemies, then reunite when needed. The battle continued for 3 days. During that time, humans and Zephyrians learned to fight as a team. Human tactical knowledge combined with alien adaptability proved more effective than either could achieve alone. Engineer Carlos Rodriguez worked with alien technicians to create hybrid weapons. They took human targeting computers and merged them with Zephyrian bioneural networks. The new weapons could think for themselves and adapt to enemy defenses. It's learning, Carlos said in amazement as he watched one of the hybrid weapons adjust its attack pattern. The bioneural network is studying the platform's responses and changing tactics. The turning point came when Tom Bradley and Zilmar completed their greatest creation. They had taken a damaged human missile and filled it with Zephyrian healing compounds, but in reverse. Instead of healing, the compounds would rapidly break down any organic or mechanical system they touched. This weapon will destroy the platform's computer cores, Tom explained to Admiral Hughes. But we need to get it past their defenses. The final assault required perfect cooperation. Human ships drew the platform's fire while Zephyrian vessels used their shape-changing abilities to deliver the special weapons. Commander Parker and Kesai led the attack, their mixed squadron striking at the heart of the ancient defense network. When the last platform exploded, both fleets found themselves floating in space together. Many ships were damaged, and crews from both sides had died in the fighting. But they had won by working as allies instead of enemies. Admiral Hughes contacted Supreme Commander Vextall directly. Commander, I think we need to talk. 2 weeks after the battle, President Maria Santos stood in the observation deck of the neutral space station. Through the large windows, she could see ships from both human and Zephyrian fleets docked together. Engineers and technicians from both species worked side by side, repairing damage and sharing knowledge. Madam President, the Zephyrian delegation has arrived, her aide announced. President Santos straightened her uniform and walked to the main conference room. This meeting would determine whether the galaxy would see peace or continued conflict between their peoples. Supreme Coordinator Vexhal entered the room with several other Zephyrian leaders. The alien commander was larger than the others, his crystal body glowing with soft blue light. Behind him came Ambassador Kethvar, now fully healed from his injuries during the first encounter. Supreme Coordinator, welcome, President Santos said, extending her hand in the human gesture of greeting she had learned the aliens understood. Vexhal touched her hand with one of his crystal appendages. President Santos, we have much to discuss. Dr. Lisa Carter served as translator and mediator. She had spent the past 2 weeks learning more about Zephyrian culture and helping both sides understand each other better. The battle changed everything, Dr. Carter explained to both leaders. Your people learned that the galaxy can be dangerous, and our people learned that not all aliens are enemies. Supreme Coordinator Vexhal nodded slowly. Dr. Carter speaks truth. For 800 years, my people explored space and found only peaceful civilizations. We believed the universe was safe for those who came in peace. The ancient weapons proved that wrong, President Santos replied. There are threats out there that don't care about our intentions. Yes, Vexhal agreed. We now understand why humans are so ready to fight. You have learned to survive in a dangerous galaxy. Ambassador Kethavar spoke up. When Captain Morrison first attacked our ship, we thought humans were simply violent and cruel. Now we know he was protecting his people from what he saw as a threat. Captain Jake Morrison, who had been invited to attend the meeting, felt relief at those words. The guilt from that first encounter had been weighing on him for weeks. I'm sorry for what happened, Jake said. We should have tried harder to communicate before attacking. And we should have understood that our approach would seem threatening, Kethavar replied. Both sides made mistakes, but we learned from them. President Santos activated a holographic display showing a map of the galaxy. Red areas marked regions where ships had disappeared or where dangerous artifacts had been found. Our scouts have been busy, she said. The ancient weapon platforms weren't alone. We found evidence of at least 6 different extinct civilizations in this sector. Something destroyed them all. The Zephyrian leaders looked at the display with growing concern. Supreme Coordinator Vexahal's body dimmed as he processed the information. 6 civilizations, he repeated, all gone. That's why we propose a formal alliance, President Santos said. Humans can provide military protection and tactical expertise. The Zephyrian Collective can offer advanced biotechnology and diplomatic connections with other peaceful species. Dr. Carter added, We've already seen how effective our cooperation can be. The hybrid technologies developed during the battle are more powerful than anything either side could create alone. Engineer Paul Jackson, who had worked closely with alien technicians, presented his report. The bio-neural targeting systems are revolutionary. They can adapt to new threats in real time, and the Zephyrian healing compounds have increased our ship repair speed by 300%. Supreme Coordinator Vexhal considered the proposal carefully. You offer protection in exchange for our technology and diplomatic networks? Not just protection, President Santos clarified. Partnership. We want to work together as equals, combining our strengths. Our people have contacted 17 other peaceful species, Vexhal said. Most are like us, focused on exploration and trade. None have significant military capabilities. Then they're all vulnerable to whatever destroyed those ancient civilizations, Jake Morrison observed. If we work together, we can protect them too. The negotiations continued for 3 days. Both sides had to overcome centuries of different thinking about how to handle conflict and cooperation. But the shared experience of battle had created trust between them. Captain Ruth Hayes, a veteran diplomat who had arrived with President Santos, helped work out the details of the alliance. She had experience dealing with different alien species and understood the challenges of interspecies cooperation. The key is establishing clear communication protocols, she explained, and making sure both sides understand each other's decision-making processes. On the final day, Supreme Coordinator Vexhal made an announcement that surprised everyone. We have decided to relocate our main fleet base to the border region between our territories, he said. We want to learn human military tactics and help defend against future threats. President Santos smiled. And we'll establish a joint research facility to develop new hybrid technologies. Our engineers and yours working together permanently. The formal signing ceremony took place on the observation deck where President Santos had first waited for the aliens. Representatives from both governments signed the Terran-Zephyrian Mutual Defense Pact, while their fleets floated in space outside. Ambassador Kethavar had been chosen as the first Zephyrian ambassador to Earth. As he prepared to leave for the human homeworld, he spoke privately with Dr. Carter. When we first came to human space, we expected to find another peaceful civilization like ours, he said. Instead, we found something more valuable. What's that? Dr. Carter asked. Guardians. People willing to stand watch against the darkness between stars. Captain Morrison was given command of the first joint exploration fleet. His crew now included both humans and Zephyrians, working together to map the dangerous regions of space and watch for new threats. Commander Nick Parker and his alien wingman Kesai had become close friends during the battle. They now led a mixed squadron that served as the rapid response team for both fleets. It's strange, Nick said as they flew patrol together. A month ago, I'd never seen an alien. Now I can't imagine fighting without you. The galaxy brought us together for a reason, Kesai replied. Perhaps this is how civilizations are meant to survive. Chief Engineer Tom Bradley and Technician Zilmar had established the first human-alien engineering team. Their workshop aboard the Defiant was producing new technologies that neither species could have imagined alone. 3 months after the alliance was signed, the joint fleets encountered their first real test. A distress signal came from the edge of Zephyrian space, where one of their colony worlds was under attack by unknown raiders. The response was swift and coordinated. Human battleships provided heavy firepower, while Zephyrian bioships used their adaptability to outmaneuver the attackers. The colony was saved with minimal casualties. Admiral Hughes, now commanding the Joint Defense Force, received a message from the rescued colonists. "Thank you for protecting us," they said. "We had heard that humans were dangerous, but now we understand. You are dangerous to our enemies, not to our friends." The alliance between humans and Zephyrians grew stronger with each passing month. Other peaceful species began requesting protection, and the joint fleets expanded to meet the growing need for security in an increasingly dangerous galaxy. Dr. Carter, now serving as the chief liaison between species, often thought about how the tragic first contact had led to something so much better. Sometimes the best alliances, she realized, were forged not in peace, but in the fires of shared struggle against a common enemy.